Now at 9, an exclusive interview with the Democratic Lieutenant gubernatorial candidate. Find out what his plans are.
Then, the Abercrombie & Fitch CEO was arrested, what he was accused of.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Find out how campus is spreading awareness.
And a festival to bring together international students, what this organization will offer these individuals.
We're tracking dry conditions and warmer temperatures on the way. NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Lawrence.
And I'm Wyatt Mayer.
News Director Abby Urban had a sit-down interview with Democratic Lieutenant gubernatorial candidate Terry Gooden.
This begins our three-part coverage of Indiana's lieutenant gubernatorial candidates.
Hi, I'm Terry Gooden, Democratic candidate for Lieutenant Governor.
So what are kind of the main platform points that your guys' campaign is running on?
Ultimately what we want to try to do is we want to move Indiana forward and make it a great place to live, work, and raise a family. So doing that, we want to make sure we have great jobs, right? With those great jobs, we want to make sure that, and tongue and groove look there, we've got to make sure we have a great educational system as well.
Now, you are really big on agriculture, and earlier this week, we at NewsLink Indiana did a story on harvest season and the dangers farmers face due to reckless driving. Do you guys have any policies or points or stances that contribute towards farmer safety?
Yes, we want to make sure safety always comes first, and I know that the FFA has a great farm safety program here in the state of Indiana that the students learn all through the state of Indiana in our high schools. So there's a real opportunity to make sure that farmers are doing the best they can in the field to be safe.
And then obviously one of the big things this year is going to be gun control or gun reform, and recently Yorktown Middle School faced a potentially dangerous threat. As a former educator and a politician, do you have any policy points or stances that contribute towards increased school safety?
Yeah, so Jennifer McCormick and Terry Gooden are the only two individuals on this ticket who have actually came up with and implemented a school safety plan. So what that school safety plan looked like was making sure that everyone knew what was going on around them, and just being aware of strangers or being aware of something that just doesn't look like it's normal for that day. Always bring those topics up to the teacher or to the closest adult to make sure we move forward. And then if we make ourselves more aware, that number one, that's usually the first step in safety.
And a little bit back to healthcare, what is going to be policies for reproductive rights, obviously, with Indiana?
Yeah, so obviously we support reproductive rights in Indiana, and we want to make sure that we keep our doctors and those folks who provide that medical care and other medical care in our state. Right now there's a mass exodus of physicians and doctors leaving the state because they are afraid to practice their trade here in our state. So we got to make sure that we not only keep our doctors that are here, but we want to be able to recruit doctors and those healthcare providers from other states as well.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, Terry. I really appreciate it.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor.
Stay tuned tomorrow for the second part of our coverage in an interview with Libertarian Lieutenant gubernatorial candidate Tanya Hudson.
The U.S. military conducted a raid against ISIS in Iraq overnight. Iraqi forces joined with U.S. service members to carry out the raid. A Pentagon spokesman provided details during a Tuesday briefing.
Overnight, CENTCOM and Iraqi security forces conducted a partner raid in Iraq targeting several senior ISIS leaders. The raid resulted in the death of multiple ISIS operatives. Post-mission analysis is ongoing, so we'll provide more details once we have confirmed information.
The Pentagon says 2 U.S. service members were injured during the raid. Both are getting treatment and are in stable condition.
The former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch has been arrested on charges related to sex trafficking. Mike Jeffers and 2 other associates today were arrested. The federal indictment alleges they ran a sex trafficking scheme between 2008 and 2015. They are accused of recruiting men who wanted to become models, then giving them drugs, alcohol, and Viagra at sex-themed parties. Jeffries and a second defendant are set to make initial court appearances at a Florida federal court on this afternoon.
He was using his power, his wealth, and his influence to traffic men for his own sexual pleasure and that of his romantic partner, Matthew Smith.
A third is scheduled to make his initial appearance Tuesday afternoon at a federal court in Wisconsin.
The teenager accused in last month's fatal shooting at Georgia school has pleaded not guilty. Colt Gray was indicted last week on 55 counts regarding the mass shooting at Appalachia High School in Winder. 4 people were killed and 9 others were injured in the incident. The 14-year-old Gray will be tried as an adult. His father, Colin Gray, was also indicted on more than 24 counts. They include second-degree murder and second-degree cruelty to children.
Now let's take a first look at weather with Evan.
It was an absolutely beautiful day here in Indiana. Our current temperatures right now, here in Muncie, it is 69 degrees. Down in Indianapolis, 67. While down in the southern part of Indiana, 71 down in Terre Haute and 71 down in Evansville. Our headlines for tonight, we're tracking warmer temperatures on the way, also some drier conditions, and an in-depth look at our homecoming forecast tonight for our full forecast.
The color purple wasn't just for show, but it symbolizes strength, resilience, and to acknowledge the fight to end abuse.
Inspired by the desire to create a safe, supportive space for survivors within the university community, the Ball State Center for Survivor Support and the sorority Alpha Chi Omega are helping their community show what love is.
The idea was simple: to paint the campus purple to bring awareness about domestic abuse and to help survivors show what healthy love is. Each stroke of purple represented a message of hope and a desire for change. This was also a promise that Ball State University would stand with survivors of domestic violence. Vice President of Risk Management for Alpha Chi Omega, Reagan Mullins, expresses how she hopes that the survivors can benefit from this event.
And I just really love to spread that awareness to people and help them learn how, even if they haven't experienced them themselves, how they can support others too.
The canvas and tote bags that the survivors painted will be serving as a lasting reminder of the power of compassion and what healthy love is supposed to be. The goal was to use this event as a way to let survivors know that they aren't alone.
We hope that the art that we're doing here today is able to make the survivors feel heard, feel seen, or maybe even have an outlet themselves to kind of express what they've been going through.
The handprint served as a powerful visual reminder that while the faces of those affected might not always be visible, their presence is felt in every corner of society. In Muncie, Ava Lenz, NewsLink, Indiana.
If you or a loved one is facing domestic violence, please contact Ball State University Center for Survivor Support.
The Festival of Lanterns lit up last Friday. International students from across the community gathered to celebrate with one another.
Lighting up a path to cultural unity, Ball State's Global Harmony Club celebrated their first anniversary with the Festival of Lanterns. The celebration lit up with performed music in celebration of our different communities around our campus. People were invited to the back to feast on different foods from around the world. Global Harmony's goal is to celebrate different cultures across campus and form strong bonds between Ball State and the rest of the world. This event helped that goal by gathering people together to sit down to talk about their culture and where they come from. Along with providing food and music, the festival aims to help international students by giving them a safe space to branch out and talk to others.
You know, a lot of international students, they came here, they don't make a lot of friends because they're nervous, they're shy to approaching to people, but an event like this helped them know more people.
A lot of connections were made that night during the festivities. Faculty members set up booths with games to teach people more about specific cultures.
I coordinated, designed the posters, and set up the stall for the Japanese origami thing. It's like a game, and we made like a small poster with information about all types of Japanese food.
In Muncie, Braylon Judy, NewsLink, Indiana.
To celebrate different cultures, Global Harmony will be throwing this event every year.
Coming up, hear why you should be expecting a holiday season full of discounts.
And get the latest on a recent vehicle recall.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew a girl so smart, so responsible, she must be a keeper.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Welcome back. Target is slashing prices on thousands of items ahead of the holiday shopping season. The realtor will cut prices for more than 2,000 home goods, beauty products, toys, and food and beverage items. Some prices have already been dropped, and the discounting will continue through December. This is the second time this year that Target has cut prices in an attempt to lure in inflation-weary shoppers. The discounts have helped boost customer spending after a string of dreadful quarters for the company.
Gas prices have ticked lower in most places in recent weeks, even in an environment with a lot of uncertainty. AAA's price tracker said that as of today, the nationwide average for a gallon of regular gasoline is $3.16, down 4 cents from 1 month ago. And GasBuddy said yesterday its tracker saw the median U.S. gas price slip below the $3 per gallon mark for the first time since early 2024. Ezra Peterson, Senior Director at AutoAppWay.com, says it's the season for lower gas prices.
Should see a slight decrease in gasoline prices going forward in the next month or two. And then a period of pretty relatively stable gas prices as things project into the springtime.
Peterson says U.S. gasoline prices have become less dependent upon swings in the global oil markets in recent years, as the nation's refining capacity has expanded and reserves have been stable. Crude oil prices close to $70 per barrel recently have also helped to keep those prices at the pump in check.
Some Honda drivers will need to have their cars inspected. The automaker announced a recall of roughly 720,000 of its vehicles due to potentially defective fuel pumps. Honda says the pumps could leak and pose a potential fire hazard. So far, there are no reports of accidents or injuries related to the issue. Affected vehicle owners will be contacted by mail in December. Honda dealers will provide free inspections and a free replacement of the fuel pump if needed.
Some X users are up in arms after the social media company changed its terms of service to let its AI train on everyone's posts. On X, artists and others in creative roles are concerned about their work being used to train computers that could someday replace human creators entirely. Other users say they're concerned about personal information in their tweets being used that way. The terms say any users who continue to use X on November 15th will be agreeing to the updated terms. It's unclear at this point if users can opt out of their posts being used to train AI.
How long will this dry spell last? Find out after the break.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try to teach them. When they learn something new, and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When tornadoes touched down in parts of our viewing area, NewsLink Indiana kept you informed days in advance.
You do need to be seeking shelter.
Marginal risk of severe weather.
And days after.
The roof has been ripped completely off of this house.
Giving you a first-hand look at the communities affected.
When your neighbors lose their house and you don't, how lucky you are.
The first to alert you of severe weather before it happens. NewsLink Indiana Weather.
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember you threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back. Again, it was a gorgeous day here in the state of Indiana. Looking at our current temperatures again, Monday here it's 69 degrees outside. Down in Indianapolis, 67 degrees. Down in the southern part of Indiana, temperatures are around 71 degrees. And today's high for our almanac today, 78 degrees outside, which is actually quite a bit warm, about 14 degrees warmer than our average high for this time of year. And it's nowhere near our record high, about 5 degrees lower actually than our record high, which was set all the way back in 1963. Even though it was a warm day, we can see it start to cool off here over the next 12 hours. If you're out anytime around the 11 p.m. to midnight time, you can expect temperatures to be around 66. As they slowly move into tonight, our low can be expected to be 56 degrees. Our conditions mostly cloudy. However, if you do go outside, take caution of the wind. It is going to be blowing at around 10 miles per hour with gusts blowing up to around 25 miles per hour. This will continue into tomorrow though. A little bit cooler morning, 58 degrees starting out with the day. However, as the day continues to move on, we see that cloud cover start to move in as well as the temperatures start to rapidly increase. 69 expected by 12 o'clock and 73 for our high at 5 p.m. However, our winds will continue to start blowing again. 10 miles per hour throughout the day, 15 at around 5 o'clock, and gusts up to 25 miles per hour at the end of the day. It has been dry though. We are currently observing around 1.15 inches of rain. However, during this time, normally we can expect somewhere in the realm of 2 inches of rain. So most of Indiana and our viewing area has been put on some kind of dry warning. Down here in the Muncie and Anderson area, we are dry. However, up in the northern part of our viewing area here in Marion and Portland, we can see actually some moderate drought monitor. Up there in the Fort Wayne area though, a little bit more severe drought going on up there. And with these dry weathers, we can actually see some above average temperatures coming here to our corner of the Midwest. However, as we move out to the West Coast, they can be experiencing some below average temperatures here over the next 6 to 10 days. For our 7-day forecast though, again, Wednesday with those partially cloudy conditions, high of 73. But moving on to Thursday, that temperature will drop to around 64 with temperature being that sunny. On Friday though, temperatures jump back up to that 70. There is a 40% chance of rain there in the afternoon before 2 o'clock. However though, I'm looking forward to Saturday for our Ball State homecoming. It absolutely looks like a gorgeous day. 62 degrees for our high that day with partly cloudy conditions. And then as we move into next work week, we can see that those temperatures jump back up to those mid to low 70s. Now, I'm really looking forward to homecoming this weekend. I don't know about you guys. I'm actually participating in the Chase Charlie 5K
Really?
Saturday morning. So I do think it'll be a perfect week for these kinds of temperatures.
And I'm really excited too. Hopefully this will be the last week of warm weather. I'm really excited to get into that cooler, more dimmer weather, enough of these like 70, 60 degree days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm starting to see it, with leaves turning yellow and gold, but I'm not feeling it yet.
Mm-hmm. There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Jace Miller has a preview of sports.
Thanks, guys. A duo looks to start their season historically while one Ball State fan stands out from the rest of the crowd. All this and more next in sports.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jace Miller with sports. As the NBA season tips off tonight, history could potentially be made. LeBron James and his son Bronny could become the first father-son duo to play together in a regular season NBA game. The Los Angeles Lakers are set to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in LA for what would be Bronny's regular season NBA debut. The younger James was selected by the Lakers 55th overall back in June at the 2024 NBA draft, and a couple of weeks ago appeared with his superstar dad on the court for a preseason game. Passing things to the field, when you think of records, it's mostly about the players. But one Ball State fan holds an impressive record of their own. NewsLink Indiana's Jake Garcia went to tailgating to learn more.
Through 100 years of Ball State football, Schumann Stadium has welcomed a plethora of fans through its gates. But each game day, there's always one familiar face. Ball State alum Mark Lazar has been to 251 out of 464 Ball State home games to cheer on his beloved Cardinals.
My first home game was September 11th, 1976, my freshman year at Ball State. And I've been to every home game for almost 50 years now.
And over those 50 years, Mark Lazar realized what he was beginning to accomplish.
It was back in about the late 90s, and I was getting ready to come down for a week of tailgating. I thought, oh, you know, I've been to every home game.
His connection and love for the game are what will him to Schumann each fall.
Went to school here 4 years, always had a love for college football that my brother instilled in me. And, you know, after I graduated, you know, whether I was working or just coming down, always came down for the home games.
No matter what may have came up, Mark was always here. He even scheduled a surgery around the Cardinals season.
Okay, we got a home game here. I can do this. I get my surgery here. We got another home game in 3 weeks, and I won't have to miss it.
With 251 consecutive games down, Lazar's sights are set for as high as a number as he can reach.
I enjoy college football. Love coming down for Ball State games. Still will, you know, till I die, and hopefully I've still got a few seasons left in me.
In Muncie, Jake Garcia, NewsLink, Indiana.
Passing it over to the hardwood, the Ball State Interfraternity Council collaborated with University Police Department to host a dodgeball tournament over the weekend. Fraternities on campus were invited to form teams to claim the title of the best dodgeball fraternity. Each team paid an entry fee of $30, and the money raised at the event will be donated to the winning team's charity of choice. IFC Vice President of Community Outreach Spencer Campbell explained why he chose the sport of dodgeball to raise money.
So I think a dodgeball is a very fun and easy game that a lot of people like to play. I think it's simple rules, and who doesn't like a game of dodgeball?
After a hard-fought battle, Sigma Alpha Epsilon came out on top and now gets to decide what charity gets the money. And guys, we've dodged, dipped, ducked, dived, and dodged our way into homecoming week. Homecoming football coming up this weekend. You guys looking forward to that?
I am very excited for it. It'll be my first tailgate and my first home football come.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that tailgate. My own family's coming up, so I'm definitely going to be spending some time with them and just excited to watch the Cardinals play some ball.
Yeah, and maybe you guys can go hang out with Mark at his tailgate, his famous tailgate over there. Maybe get some tailgating tips, so to speak.
He's been there for about like 40 years. He'll probably know everything.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a tailgating professional, so I'm very excited. Maybe I will run into him. So
yeah, Cardinals facing off against NIU this weekend. Should be a good matchup.
Yep, thank you. After the break, see where our beloved Bear is going next.
And take one final look at weather.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In a heartwarming twist straight from the screen, Paddington Bear has received a real British passport. It's part of a promotional campaign for the new film Paddington in Peru, which sees the bear returning to his homeland for a new adventure. Yesterday, the film's co-producer told the Radio Times magazine that they requested a passport replica. But to their surprise, British authorities issued Paddington an official passport. Paddington in Peru hits U.S. theaters on January 17th. Now, I don't know about you two, but I love Paddington so much.
Yeah, I grew up on those films, and those films always made me want to eat some marmalade sandwiches afterwards, so I'm very excited for this new film.
Oh, you are so right. Let's bring it over to weather.
Well, the weather in Muncie might not be like the weather in Peru. Again, Wednesday, 73 degrees. Thursday, though, those temperatures drop back to 64 with sunny conditions. Friday, we can maybe expect a 40% chance of rain sometime in the afternoon before 2 o'clock. Saturday, though, again, perfect conditions for our homecoming game here at Ball State. 62 degrees for the high. Continuing that here on Sunday in those low 60s. And then into next work week, the sun comes back out with temperatures in those mid to low 70s. I just cannot believe that we're getting weather this nice this third week of October. I'm absolutely loving it in here. So
it feels like such a blessing. I'm so happy for it.
Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. That's all for tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, live streaming on Facebook's Indiana page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.